Learning about sustainability in general across the city and ways that London implements it into their everyday lives was really important to us because we can apply it to concepts now.
I'd never really been able to hear the birds chirping in city areas, and I think going to London really changed how I view the potential for urban areas, how green they can be, how welcoming they can be.
I think my favorite thing that we saw was definitely Kew Gardens or the Eden Project, which was just an hour away from Plymouth. That was an area that was filled with biodiversity in different biomes.
I don't think I've ever seen a space like that here in the US, where you've got such rich biodiversity in such a small space, and to have that publicly funded by just charity works is really fun to see.
They definitely discussed how buildings adhere to different principles and different policies that the UK has implemented. They talked a lot about rooftop gardens being a way to foster sustainability, as the gardens would eliminate some of the CO2 in the city atmosphere and reduce pollutions.
Well, I think with London you see a lot of potential for green space, and I think on this campus as well you see so much green just all around us, and you think of all the good that can be done. In a university space that we visited in Plymouth, they had this wall of shrubbery, which they called a green wall. It was like maybe 10 feet by 10 feet, and it was just in their working space. And it had to be maintained about twice a year, but the impacts of that green wall, as they called it, were felt by everyone who worked there. Those small things that we can kind of think of as passive, they add up over time.
In the UK, everyone is really on board with the whole idea of being green in their living. Sustainability was more of a policy that everyone abided by, as opposed to in the US, where it's not specifically a policy, it's more so who can do what where. The UK made it really accessible to be sustainable. There was a lot of renewable energy and solar panels, which in the end would be cheaper than actually paying for what we have now in energy in the US. Additionally, with public transportation services in the UK, a lot of that was trying to figure out more ways to be sustainable and green. Meanwhile, in the US, a lot of people just use cars to get around.
So we're working on promoting an app called Refill. I'm wearing the sticker right here, download Refill.
The whole plastic industry releases the most amount of carbon dioxide into our atmosphere, and the Refill app provides different locations across local communities with refill stations in order for people to have an incentive to use a reusable water bottle and fill their water bottles up.
We're trying to get Refill more widely used in the US. Right now it's based in the UK.
And we're trying to bring it to Princeton by getting local businesses to be refill stations.
I think I've gained a new perspective on just how the little increments of change can make a huge difference, and I think that I see a lot of potential here at Hun for these small sustainable initiatives to make a huge impact.